let's talk about the June 2025 Fastrack. So just like the May 2025 Fastrack, this one isn't as exciting either. There are a couple things that are interesting to point out and talk about, but other than that, it's gonna be kind of drab again. So kicking off with the recommended item section, in street touring category, we have IRP shifter in ST classes. The STAC is recommending the following changes in section 14, or following change, sorry. 14.2.L, or I think, if it's capital, so it's an I. Interior trim may be modified the minimum amount necessary to allow the installation of authorized modifications, such as shifters and steering wheels. Next, ST boost is already unlimited. Pulleys should be too. The STAC is recommending the following changes in section 14. Supercharger pulleys and belts of the same type as standard may be replaced with alternate pulleys, allowing drive ratio changes. Belt tensions may be added or changed to reduce belt slip. And then in rule 14.10.H, it talks about how this allowance applies to accessory pulleys only, with a list of examples, and they added supercharger to that example. And later they took out supercharged cars may not change the effective diameter of any pulley which drives the supercharger. And then next we have classing clarification needed for the Mazda 6. So apparently there was some confusion there between the different models, the non-turbos and the turbos. Anyways, the STAC is recommending the following addition to Appendix A. In EST, which was STS, the Mazda 6 non-turbo is in that class, and the Mazda 6 turbo non-Mazda speed is in GST, formerly known as STH. Next up, in member advisories, we have event operations, 2025 National Course Designers. They've finally found them after a couple months. The SEB has approved the selection of Charles Cramper and Ken Housiel as course designers for the 2025 Tire Rack Solo Nationals. I know of Charles Crampert. Ken, I hope I didn't butcher your name, Housiel. But congratulations to you both. Looking forward to seeing what those courses look like at the 2025 Solo Nationals. Next up, in safety, crossovers are dangerous and should be prohibited, this person says. The SSC agrees that crossovers are not the ideal course elements, but sometimes may be necessary. SSS, the Solo Safety Stewards, are reminded to work closely with event leadership to ensure the best release times for cars at the start. Now, I will chime in on this. Crossovers are a lot of fun. Can they be dangerous? Absolutely. Just like anything in autocross and racing in general. Crossovers, as long as they're done right, and just like they said here, to look at the best release times for starting a car, you're fine. Just wait until they do the second part of the crossover, and then you can send cars from there. It ain't that hard. You just gotta be mindful. Make sure your starters are mindful. So I am totally for crossovers when done right, obviously, just like everything else in life. But let me know what you guys think about crossovers in the comment section down below. And anyways, moving on to the next thing. Height versus width legalities. If cars have been classed in the Solo rules, they may participate in the configuration classed. Both of the cars in question are classed in H Street. So I'm guessing there was talks about like Fiestas or something like that and rollover risk, whatever. Anyways, next, some thoughts on Solo safety. The Solo Safety Committee and SEB encourage safety stewards to work with course designers to provide additional safety margins where appropriate, based on site parameters and anticipated course speeds. Next, SOPAC Div DSSS. The SSC has recommended and the SEB has approved Gene Sanders to be DSSS for the Southern Pacific Division, effective immediately. So congratulations there, Gene Sanders. Next up, in street category, eligibility of Falcon RT660 Plus for street. I thought that was already elaborated on in prior fast tracks, like a couple fast tracks ago. Per the SEB, the Falcon 660 Pluses do meet the eligibility requirements of 13.3. There you go. Ford F-150 Lightning, an interesting question on that truck. Thank you for your letter. Per the vehicle rollover guidelines in section 3.1, the F-150 Lightning static stability factor falls outside of the acceptable range without modification. Lower profile tires does not constitute an allowable modification to bring a vehicle within acceptable SSF limits. So there's that. Next, in street touring category, no classification for this car. The omission of the 2016 model year for the Porsche Boxster and Cayman 987.2 and 981 was an error and was corrected in the rulebook update published in March of 2025. Next, drive shaft carrier bearing support legal in ST? JXB carrier bearings are not currently allowed under street touring rules, but a reliability modifications change proposal is out for member comment. Please see the response to letter 35857 in the December 2024 Fastrack, and change proposal with letter 35783 in the December 2024 and April 2025 Fastrack. So that was mentioned in the April Fastrack that came out in March. Next, the Toyota 86 model year typo. Thank you for your letter. The model year typo was for the 86 was corrected in the rulebook update published back in March 2025. So there's that. And next, we have 2 letters for this. The Cusco rear upper control arm kit, legal, ? Clarification, ? Thank you for your question. Suspension bushings, including those in aftermarket control arms, must meet the criteria 14.8.b. A change of bushing type from that of the OE part in an aftermarket arm is not permitted. There's the answer there. Next, in CAM and XS, body and bodywork, page 258. The CAM XS committee does not feel that spray-on sound barrier or thermal coatings qualifies as a finished panel of any material. When replacing interior panels forward of the B pillar, carpet must be adhered in a manner such that it will not come loose during competition and cause a safety hazard for the driver. That could be through adhesive or other mechanical means. Is 2024 Is 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance qualifying for XB class? I don't know why I had Mazda on the brain there. Thank you for your letter. A Tesla Model 3 Performance would be legal to run in XB provided it meets the weight requirements of the class. Next, in prepared category, cylinder bore rule clarification. Appendix A, C prepared supersedes the language in section 17.10.H.1. Any bore and stroke combination for engine replacement changes is allowed. Next up, in change proposals, we have in safety. Non-metallic wheels in solo. This is an interesting one. Not much to it, but it is an interesting prospect to think about. The following proposal is intended to update wheel requirements in 3.3.3 to reflect current standards in various categories. Change the third sentence of 3.3.3.B.12 as follows. Other than standard parts as defined by these rules, non-metallic wheel construction is prohibited, and they added, except as explicitly allowed within category rules, where FSAE cars are exempt from this requirement since their rules allow non-metallic wheels anyways. Next, in street touring category for this, proposal to change 14.2.f. The STAC is republishing the following proposal without changes to ensure the membership has time to comment on the proposal. So far, feedback on the proposal has been very minimal, and the STAC and SEV encourage the membership to write in their opinions. So this is in regards to the recent classing changes for 2025. The STAC is requesting member feedback for the following modification to the street touring allowances. In 14.2.f, in the first part, it's talking about it is a standard for addition of substitution of spoilers, splitters, rear wings, etc. It is a standard or operational production part which could be ordered on the US model vehicle as part of the base package or part of a higher trim package. However, the trim package must be classed in the same street touring class. And that was really about it there. And they state this is intended to close the current loophole that would allow such modifications as CR wings on a non-CR S2K or TS wings on any first-gen twin. This probably doesn't have particularly large impact with the current ST classing, but could prevent future cases if a particularly effective aero solution appears in a future car. Next, in CAM and XS again, B-Biller interior panel clarification. The CAM XS committee is seeking membership feedback on the following rule change to clarify whether the B-Biller can have panels removed or not. Change the following rule in the body and bodywork sections as follows. The area behind and including the B-Biller may have panels and carpet removed. Exposed metal interior surfaces must be painted. Cart class is next. Questioning cart weights. The CAC would like to suggest member feedback on minimum weight adjustments for the KZ and ROK engine packages. This is to more closely align the KM minimum weights to that of other wheel-to-wheel series. So for the KZ and ICCs, they want to change from the weight adjustment from plus 25 to plus 20 pounds. And for the ROK shifter, they want the weight adjustment to be changed from plus 5 to plus 10 pounds. Moving on, next is the not recommendeds, the other items reviewed, and the handled elsewheres, also known as the misfit inputs. If you want to read through them, I'm going to leave the link to the Fastrack in the description down below, so check that out. Next, and to round out this Fastrack for June 2025, is Tech Bulletins, Event Operations, Adjustment to Solo Passenger Rules. Now, if I remember right, this was addressed in the May 2025 Fastrack, and I'm assuming that because this was a letter about this, they're putting it in again here. After review of the passenger guidelines in section 1.2.2.d, the following change is recommended. Change section 1.2.d, and I guess it's a comma, not a point, or not a dot, D as shown. They're taking out the original stuff entirely. And the new passenger rule is a passenger is allowed provided that the passenger must be 12 years or older. So they took out the minimum height requirement. So it doesn't matter about their height anymore. They have to be a certain age or older. Next, the passenger must fit properly in the vehicle's safety restraints and must wear a properly fitted helmet. That just seems like common knowledge, common sense, you know. Next is, it is highly recommended that onboard passenger airbags be disabled for passengers under 57 inches tall. So like we just talked about, you have to be at least 12 years old to be a passenger. But if you are under 57 inches tall, you need to be able to disable the passenger airbags. So there's that. Next, the vehicle has passed safety tech inspection, which every vehicle should if you're going to be taken out on an autocross course. That's just the bare minimum. And the passenger has completed and signed the required participant waivers, including parent guardians as appropriate. So once again, that's something that has to be done regardless. Like most of this is just, it should have been just done by everybody anyways. But the age being taken out and having the minimum age be the strict requirement to have a passenger, it kind of makes sense to an extent, but it is what it is. That's to be debated if you really want to, but this seems like a good change overall, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this change from the minimum height versus having the minimum age instead. I think it's fine. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And rounding out this Fast Track in street category, we have the 2024 and up BMW M340 per the SAC. Correct the following error in Appendix A. In F Street, the BMW 3 Series G20 and 21 chassis will be included, as well as the 330i and stuff like that. I'm not too sure about all those nomenclatures. Anyways, they adjusted the years from 2020 to 2025 by 2020 to 2023. Next, HS Celica classing clerical error. Update Appendix A with the following technical correction. In HS, the Toyota Celica, Celica GT, and GTS are now being basically rounded up in the same little category. So Celica, GT, and GTS, 2000 to 2005. That's about it. They just kind of roped them all into one thing. Next, classing for 2025 Porsche 911 Carrera 992.2. That is being classed in SS. So the Porsche 911 992.2 Carrera chassis 2025 is in SS now. And last but not least is kart category with rule change recommendation for 19.1.6 for clarity. The CAC would like to clarify a correct rule as said to be revised as follows. Overflow. Oh, so it's the overflow. That's right. Overflow lines for the crossed out carburetor for the radiator and the fuel tank, if present, must terminate in an overflow bottles of at least 2 ounces. So that was it for the June 2025 Fast Track. As I said in the beginning, it's very drab. There hasn't been a lot going on in these past couple Fast Tracks, at least not as much as there had been last year, but hopefully that'll ramp up a little bit. And once again, no mention of the GR Corolla, a little bit sus. There's been a lot of inputs by me and many others, so we're looking forward to seeing those at some point soon, maybe towards the end of the year, if we finally get the car moved back to D Street. Because how is it that a GR Corolla, which is objectively slower than CTRs, and obviously then being shit on quite literally by people on YouTube, drag racing them against the Golf R and the Hyundai Elantra N, which the Hyundai Elantra N and Golf Rs are being moved supposedly down to H Street, or G Street, sorry. Seems a little bit biased towards the GR Corolla. All I'm gonna say is it's pretty BS. We need to be moved back down to D Street, like last year. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this Fast Track in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you got some good use out of it, please leave a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and ring the bell so you guys will be notified of more Fast Track news like this coming up here once a month whenever the new Fast Track is out, as well as more content with the GR Corolla, racing, and more stuff that I have planned coming up here in the near and the distant future. And till next time, guys, keep going fast.